Let's find area using the distributive property. So we might have a problem that looks something like this. So when I look at this box, I see two boxes within it. 3 and a 4 up here, and 3 and a 2 up here. Now we know 4 plus 2 equals 6. But if our problem asked us to do the distributive property, we would look at the problem like this. I'm trying to find 3 times 6. Because remember, area equals length times width. But our problem wanted us to use the distributive property. So I would say 3 times 6 equals 3. Both of these are also 3. Times, and then in parentheses, I'm going to put 4 plus 2. Because 4 plus 2 equals 6. So we have the same problem on both sides of the equation. 3 times 6. But you can see I distributed that 6 into two numbers, a 4 and a 2. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some arrows so that I can visualize what I'm really multiplying. So here, I'm really multiplying 3 times 4, which was my first arrow, and I'm adding it to 3 times 2, which is my second arrow. Then I'm going to solve for each of these individual problems. So 3 times 4 is 12. Bring down the plus sign. 3 times 2 is 6. All I have to do now, add these together, and I got 14. With arrow, we're always going to say 14 square units if we're not told what it is. So I have 14 square units here. This is how I would solve it if it wanted me to show the distribution in equations. Now, you're going to need to know how to do this, but I'm also going to show you how this work equals this problem. So first, I'm going to find this area. So area equals length times width. I have my length, which is my longer side, of 4 times 3, and here I have 12. You're going to notice I also have 12 here. This box, when I find area, is going to equal 3 times 2. Remember, length and width are always going to be perpendicular to one another. So going in opposite directions. 3 times 2 equals 6. You'll see my, oh, I made a math error. Hopefully you caught that while you were watching this video. 3 times 2 equals 6. So 12 plus 6 is 18. And that, my friends, is why it's so important to always double check your work. And by doing it a second way, I am double checking. Real life lesson right there. 12 plus 6 is 18. And we can see I got 18 square units both times I solved. So, it may seem a little daunting with all these numbers and parentheses and addition and multiplication symbols, but it's really just doing partial products, which is something we've learned a long time ago. So, we are just using this unit to combine a bunch of things we know to make us smarter. So, we already know partial products. We already know multiplication and a division and addition problems. Now we're putting them together to use the distributive property to find area. Let's do a little review of regular and irregular shapes. A regular shape is going to look like either a rectangle or a square in this case. An irregular shape is going to look not like a rectangle or a square. You can see there's part of it that's missing. So, when we find area, we are always doing length times width. So, if my problem here said 2 and 5, my length is 5, my width is 2. The area of this shape is 10 square units. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's for regular. Now, irregular gets a little bit trickier. Our shape might look something like this. And if this is the case, there's 2 different ways we can solve it. Way number 1 would be to split our shape into 3 shapes. We're going to have to do a little bit of math outside of multiplication in order to decide what the area of each shape is going to be. So when I look at this problem, I see that there's a 1 here and a 1 here. So that tells me this area equals 1 times 1. This one, I can assume this is the same, so area equals 1 times 1. But here, I don't know what this width is. So I'm going to have to look and say 2, which is this long line, minus 1 equals 1. And then this area is going to be 3 times 1. I'm going to get 3. But I'm not done yet. Now I have to add all 3 of these separate pieces up. So I'm going to get 3 plus 1 plus 1, and I get 5 square units. That's our first way to solve. Now, I could also, and I'll leave that right there, take this shape and do some subtraction. So I'm going to give it the same values as that shape. This was 1, this was 1, this was 1. This is 2 over here, and this is 3. What I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine that this is one giant regular shape, like a rectangle. Then I'm going to find the area as if it were regular. So 3 times 2. And I'm going to get 6. But I'm not done yet. I added this part in when I made it one big shape. So now I have to get rid of it. Here's where the math comes in. This is 3. So that means this is 3. If I have 1 and 1 here, what does this equal? Well, 1 plus 1 plus what equals 3? That's also going to equal 1. And so I was given the width, I have the length, so area equals 1 times 1, so it's going to equal 1. Now I have to delete this piece or subtract it. So I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to go 6 minus 1 equals 5 square units. And just like that, I got the same answer. But this way, I found 3 different areas and added them together. This way, I found 2 areas, and I took that piece back out. So, I know it seems like a lot. We've done this for over a week. You should have plenty of practice. Use this video and these problems to keep practicing and studying, and good luck on your test.